Do you feel like your business is running your life instead of the other way around? I'm Roy Castleman. I built multiple seven-figure companies, worked across continents, and coached high-performing entrepreneurs. But I've also been completely burnt out. At one point, I was barely seeing my daughter, drowning in stress, and one step away from walking away from it all. That's when I made a decision to build a business and a life that works for me. The journey became Elevate 360, a system to help business owners reclaim their time, find their energy again, and get back in control, without sacrificing growth. And this podcast, Power Movers, is where I share real stories behind that shift. Each week you'll hear from entrepreneurs, founders, and leaders who've walked through the fire and come out the other side with clarity, courage, and a system that works. If you're ready to build a business that gives you more life instead of taking it away, you're in the right place. Hello, Power Movers. So today we have a real treat. I'm here with Dr. Peddi, and I have a bit of a history. Part of my journey is into wellness and how do we actually keep ourselves as well as possible to be effective business owners. And Dr. Peddi is a general practitioner. He's a functional medicine doctor. And he's spent a big portion of his life in the last 3 or 4 years or longer really researching various tools for wellness. Welcome, Dr. Peddi. Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning a bit more about all the things you do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for introducing myself. And it's a pleasure being on the podcast now. As you've introduced me, I am a GP, general practitioner. I'm a functional medicine or an integrated practitioner. I'm based in Leeds. I have a wellness center and a functional medical CQC registered clinic as well. So we operate both of them. And today we're going to talk about the wellness side of stuff, what anyone and everybody can do.
And this is it, right? This is the power of actually looking at wellness, because from my own point of view, I have an opportunity. I have money in the bank sitting there that I can leave in the bank, or I can put that money into my wellness and live a better day-to-day life. And I came to you and I found you because of EBU. And I'll let you explain what EBU is, because it's a long name that you get and I don't. Yeah, because I went through this process of seeing this on Instagram through some people on Instagram, and they were talking about all the benefits of it. And I think some of them, they stretch the truth a little bit, and then some of them they are very accurate on. I found this EBU solution in the US for sometimes a lot more money than I thought was reasonable, but I was thinking, okay, fine. And then as it happened, I found you doing EBU in Leeds at a very reasonable price. And so I reached out to you, and we've been on a journey ever since then. I've done 4 treatments now, I think, along with a whole bunch of other treatments, and it really has helped me. So let's talk about the various things that you do in your wellness clinic and how they potentially fit into this idea of wellness. So starting with EBU, maybe explain EBU to the clients out there, to the people out there.
We do quite a few wellness treatments in the clinic. We do around 7 or 8 different kind of wellness treatments mainly, and you can always do, each one has different. We do ozone therapies, including EBU, which I'll explain in a second. And then we do have a nice red and infrared bed, which has some standard frequencies as well as some special frequencies, which I would actually ask the manufacturer to make for my own clients so that the energy penetrates a bit more deeper. And then we have a nice photon wave machine, which can detox you through light, just looking at it. And then we have pulsed electromagnetic frequency mat as well as coils. We have a low intensity version. We have a higher intensity version. Both are quite useful. If you just ask us which one you prefer, we can do that for you. And we have one of the best ones, our intravenous blood irradiation with various different colors, which we'll talk about in a few minutes or down the line. Okay. Coming to the ozone therapies, one of the best ones when it comes to ozone therapy is EBU, which is extracorporeal blood ozonation and oxygenation. That's
why I can't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So effectively, my experience with this, and I'll put some video up together as well, my experience with this has been pretty good. But talk us through what that process is.
First, what it entails is, as the word says, extracorporeal, which means the actual procedure happens outside your body. blood ozonation and oxygenation. So it involves your blood mixing with the ozone oxygen mixture. So whenever any medical ozone is produced, it's 5% ozone pure and 95% is still pure oxygen. So you need a medical grade oxygen cylinder for use in this. And the procedure involves taking blood out from one of your veins in your arm. It passes through a special filter where the ozone is mixed with the blood and some heparinized saline so that the blood doesn't clot. And then technically the waste products can come out with the filtration, and you actually have the blood which has been filtered, ozonated, oxygenated. It passes through another tube which goes into your other arm. Okay. For this, I do have to tell that you need a couple of good veins, at least one nice big vein. It's not possible in some people who have poor venous access because you need to fit in a nice thick intravenous cannula. Otherwise, the blood doesn't come out in the rate we would like to. And in the filter, the blood mixes thoroughly with ozone and oxygen, and it's highly oxygenated. And the ozone, let's put it this way, ozone is a molecule of 3 atoms of O, oxygen. Okay, oxygen is just O2, this is O3. The combination is unstable, so the minute it actually gets in touch with the blood, it becomes O2 and a single molecule of O. Okay, and that's highly reactive. It on its own can actually kill lots of bacteria, viruses, and it has a lot of beneficial effect as well to change your redox mechanism in your body. So it increases, even though it's an oxidation process, slight oxidation causes your own body to increase its own antioxidants like your glutathione and NAD. One of the way we can support the EBU after you finish the EBU is giving a slight bit of antioxidants like glutathione, B12, which actually is like a methyl donor, and NAD plus. Okay, so everybody knows nowadays about NAD plus. Okay, so these are the three things which you normally use after the EBU procedure. It generally, as a wellness center, we can't say what it is specifically used for. It can help with anything people suffer from chronic diseases, any specific, because it works at the mitochondrial level. So we're not trying to cure anything. We're just trying to actually help the clients get better, just supporting their system.
And this is the thing for me that's been quite clear is that if we can put into our bodies the right food, the right supplementation, we all live such lives of the different things we eat and the different things we're exposed to, and all these kind of things can make us less productive. If we let our bodies do what our bodies do well, then our bodies can look after so many other things. And for me, this blood oil change, you're taking the blood out, you're fixing it. You also do something else. You've done that for me a couple of times, which is pass it through infrared light. Is that right? And
yeah, we do another, apologies, sorry. We do another procedure called as ultraviolet blood irradiation, which is a very special procedure. While the blood has been filtered and oxygenated and ozonated after in the filter, when it comes out, we pass it through a special ultraviolet light. It has very specific frequencies, UVA, UVB, which we don't use it all the time. It's only for specific needs we use it, but generally it's UVA, UVC1, and UVC2. Okay. UVC1 and C2 have highly anti-infective properties. Okay. UVA has quite a few immunomodulating properties as well. Okay. So it's called as ultraviolet blood, specifically only ultraviolet. Okay. AC1, C2. And the blood passes through that, which causes quite a few changes in the blood, which is being given back to you. It's your own blood. And this procedure, the patients or the clients love it along with the EBU. It's generally another add-on. Doesn't cost much, but we do recommend it if you would like to have it done. Is the whole procedure done in one go.
So this, for me, this was coming in and putting the things that work together the best. So you can just do the EBU and get 20% benefit, or you do the EBU, the NAD, glutathione, B12, the irradiation, and you get the sum of all the parts is greater, together, as it were. So for me, I've done 4 of these procedures with you now, and I found some really good kind of benefits, and that really helped me, be more energetic, be sleeping better, all these kind of things. So it's been really useful. We then start talking a little bit more about the other procedures, and we're just going to touch into them briefly, and we'll probably come back to them in more detail in future episodes, because I'd like to get you back on again if you're open to it. But given this process of understanding the human body, I want to go back a little bit to your journey slightly, because we've spoken a few times about how you got into this. What is your story? Why was the biohacking field so interesting to you? Why was the medicine field that you've taken? How did you get there?
It was a long journey. It started almost in 2014 when I was quite unwell with a lot of joint pains, some skin issues. Then I realized, being a doctor, I'm struggling so much and I didn't want to go on immunosuppressants and all the other stuff. So I went on into learning, trying to find out root cause. There was no root. That was a time functional medicine just started slowly around in UK. Not much, not many people, 1 or 2, and then it's called as functional medicine in USA, and it's called as ecological medicine in Germany, and the Germans have been doing it for a while. I've been to traditional medicine practitioners like Ayurveda in India, had some relief, but not a huge amount. Then I decided I need to find out what exactly is wrong with me. And then I started learning, exploring this field, and it's been unstoppable. So
You spent some considerable money in the field of learning this stuff, haven't you?
it's quite an expensive field, even to learn, as well as these equipment are quite expensive. These are, you can say, biohacking equipment. Anyone can do it. You don't really need, if you know a bit of medical knowledge, as many of the biohackers do, learning online, yes, we can always guide you, but we can't treat you being a wellness center. Then there are certain specific protocols, like if you want to achieve this, you do this in this order. If you want to achieve this, you do it in different order. So everything helps. But if you have a combined full package all together, for example, pulsed electromagnetic frequencies, open your voltage gate channels, stabilize your membrane. So you combine that simultaneously with some IVs, you get some excellent results instead of just doing them separately or at different days. So the same thing works for other stuff which have synergistic effects. Like, for example, people take methylene blue for biohacking, and you combine them with the high dose, a short burst of red light, but you need to know what you're using it for, because you don't want to be overdoing it.
So, and we're going to have an in-depth discussion about methylene blue in a future
Yeah.
discussion. What I really wanted to bring to this discussion was the concept that we have these different spaces at the moment. So we have the biohacking space, we have the medical space, we have the functional medical space. And what I love about working with you is that you bring the excitement of the biohacking space into it, this understanding that we're really not in the same situation as we were in the medical world 10 years ago. There's a totally different understanding of the human body. And coming from where you come from, this position of actually, I have a problem, or I had a problem that I'm working with, that gives you a unique insight for people. But then you also bring the medical experience. You've been a medical doctor for many years, and you also bring the functional medical. So all of this coming together, for me, gives a much bigger understanding of what you're working with and on. And I know we're not allowed to say a whole bunch of things in terms of what you're able to do, just because of the restrictions put onto us by the medical world. I can say it. I think it's amazing. I think, for me, this door opening of this whole other world of how do I make myself a better person? How do I get more energy? And I love the fact that when we first spoke, we spoke a lot about what are the things we need to look at. And one of the first things you said to me was, you should be doing meditation, which just really resonated because I do meditation, right? So it's not just a case of, look, here's the medicine, here's a drug you need to go and take. It's a full holistic approach. How do you actually change your approach to medicine? How do you change your approach to wellness? And from that wellness piece, get the best out of yourself. And for business owners, I think this is so important, right? We live in such a stressed environment, right? Yeah. So look, reaching out to business owners and talking to them about wellness is a big part of what I do, right? Because I don't want to work with anybody that isn't prepared to work on their own wellness. So do you see much of this in the business space?
Definitely, because as you just said, many of the business owners, or virtually every business owner, has a high stressful job. And as you remember, the first thing I told you is it's not just spending money on wellness, it's about creating some time and space for your meditation, your breath work, these kind of things. And these wellness measures, you combine them with those, you get some excellent results.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people who are happy to invest their time and money on these wellness measures, they see some amazing changes. You just have to commit for a few sessions. And especially the chronically stressed, they utilize all their minerals, their vitamins, everything. They utilize them more and more. They're in a very high stressful state. And then these procedures can help them to beat the stressful stage, to calm them. There's so many things they do inherently.
Yeah, and that's this for me is such a space of where we are in the world, right? Yeah, we can choose to be stressed or we can choose not to be stressed. And I say that, and people are like, "You just don't understand me," but I do. I've been there. I've been sitting there literally in such a stressed position that I live in stress. I talk about sympathetic system and the parasympathetic system a lot. And it's become almost a given understanding now that the one thing that gives us disease is stress. If we live in stress, we're going to get disease. So this is what you need to, firstly, you need to understand how to get yourself out of a stress situation, how to perceive the stressful situations to not get into it, and then how to support your body through whatever means possible so that you can come out of the other side of this and say, okay, I'm not stressed anymore. I sleep well. I have the energy that I need in order to run my business. And I have the energy that I need in order to do the things that I love, spending time with my family, going out and having adventures, traveling the world, whatever these things are for you. So it's really how do we take this idea that we're sitting here with a substantial opportunity to be the best version of ourselves, and we just don't take the steps. And for me, this is why I love working with you. We're working on a two-way basis. I'm helping you with the business setup. You're helping me with my longevity and my wellness. And then this interaction is so powerful because we both understand the other point of view.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Again, as you said, stress can make or break another person, break a person. Your brain is your biggest frequency generator. You really have to look into the stress side of things. Doing these wellness procedures not just only helps you with the stress a bit, but it's not entirely the stress relieving part we're looking at, because everybody is toxic nowadays. Everyone has toxins, and we generally live in a symbiotic relationship with the organisms in our body. There's a lot of evidence now saying that we have lots of mold, viruses, bacteria, which are actually in symbiosis, which means they don't do any harm to you. They are living inside you, inside everywhere, and they don't do any problems. They're not going to cause any problems. But the minute you have stress and the sympathetic system is constantly on the higher than compared to the parasympathetic system, these things can change over. The normal infections can become severe and they can overtake you. And sometimes doing these procedures can keep things in check. They increase your energy, they increase your concentration because of the way they work. For example, you do ozone session. Yes, it does help you with your redox mechanisms in your body, with increasing your antioxidants, endogenous. Now, everybody can take lots of vitamin C and glutathione, but nothing beats your own increase of your body's own glutathione and NAD, which ozone does amazingly. And sometimes at a higher dosage, it can actually kill the slightly overactive bugs and everything else, the bacteria, viruses. It can cause
Yeah.
immunomodulation. There's so many things. And if you want to come to red and infrared light therapy, those biophotons can activate your complex 4 of your mitochondria, which has amazing effects on oxygenation of the cell, increased nitrous oxide production. If everybody knows nowadays about NO, and they start drinking beetroot juice and methylene blue, whatnot. So yes, these wellness procedures can help business owners a lot to keep healthy, keep themselves healthy, their family, and they're investing so much in their business. Invest a bit in their health, and you see some amazing changes.
And yeah, for me, I think, and what we're going to be doing over the period is we're going to bring you back on here on a regular basis, and we're going to educate, because education is the first piece, right? For me, yeah, if you understand that there are other opportunities out there, yeah, and yeah, look, as you've said, some things work really well for some people, and they don't work well for other people. And yeah, for me, yeah, I try a lot of stuff. I think I've done all your procedures, and some of them we can talk about, and some of them we can't talk about. Just you have this different. You have the wellness side of it, but you also have a clinical side of it, and yeah, so the wellness side of it has got so many elements that we can talk about and be more educational about. And we will talk about methylene blue. We'll talk about the IV treatments, various IV treatments. We'll talk about the supplementation, the methylene blue, and just bring some of the knowledge that you've gained over the last few years. Yeah, and starting to educate people how they can look at their wellness. And I just think there's this entire piece that we need to really keep front of mind, which is you need to make a mind shift. You need to make it an entire mind shift before you start doing this, which is all about, I am important enough to invest in my own health. Because, business owners are so driven by profit, right? And it's all about profit, and it's all about let's get the turnover up and the profit. And I don't think that they understand that if you get the energy that you need to, then profit becomes much easier. You work from a point of stress, you work from a point of pain, and you're always trying to play catch up. But you work from a point where you can wake up in the morning and have energy, and you can spend that energy in the same day. It just makes everything so much easier, and you get yourself into a state of flow. And to do this, you have to invest in yourself.
Exactly. You invest in yourself first, and you see the changes in your business, as you said.
100%. I think we can leave that there for now. I'm going to give you an open invitation to come back on again, and we'll go through. And if there's anything that anybody particularly wants to talk about, wants some more information on, put it in the comments below here, either on the podcast or reach out to us, and we will happily get that subject on the list to talk about, because I think it's important to talk about what people are interested in. So we look forward to having you come back. I will put your contact details and things below so that people can get a hold of you. Is there any last pearl of wisdom that you can give people before we close up?
Definitely. The pearls of wisdom I would like to say is take your health in your own hands. There's so much you can do yourself. Yes, you need a bit of guidance, but there's so much information available online through your colleagues, friends. Ask a clinician if you're in doubt, see an integrative practitioner just to get some advice. But most of these don't need anything really special research or anything. The research has been there for decades, and do a few sessions, see the difference in your energy, see the difference in how you feel, and then the whole world is yours.
Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Peddi, and I look forward to speaking again.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine, definitely.
Thanks for listening to Power Movers, the podcast from All the Power, where our mission is to help business owners reclaim their time, reset their energy, and live the life they love. If this episode sparked something for you, your next step is simple. Take the fit check at allthepower.co.uk. It's a short clarity tool that helps you see where you are, what's getting in the way, and what might be possible if you have the right system. When you're ready, come and join the tribe. Power Movers start with our signature framework called Elevate 360, a system built to help you escape survival mode, create structure, and move forward with power. Just remember, everything we share here is based on real stories, experience, and frameworks. It's not personal business advice. Always speak to a coach or advisor before making big decisions. Because in the end, it's about more than business. It's about building a life that you actually love. I'm Roy Castleman, and I'll see you in the next episode.